last week on AEW Dynamite.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? It is Jimmy King with WrestleLaunch, and it is time for your AEW Dynamite and Collision review, because last night we had 3 hours, 2 of which were Dynamite and 1 was Collision. So we're going to jump right into it because this is going to be a relatively long episode of the review. Before things got started tonight, we had a memorial for the passing of CNN, TNT, and TBS founder Ted Turner, Turner Broadcasting System, TBS. And unfortunately, he did pass away the early morning hours of Wednesday morning. So we had Tony Schiavone, who is somebody who has known Ted Turner for a good amount of time, considering the fact that Tony Schiavone started working in the TBS studios back in 1987, I think it was, or 85 or so. I can't remember exactly when he said. We get a 10-bell salute for Ted Turner because of the fact that Ted Turner genuinely loved professional wrestling. He had passion and vision to move forward into the future. He was the type of person who put wrestling on the map for people as far as being able to watch it across the world and not just in syndicated television before many other companies did just that. We actually get old man Sting coming down, and personally this is my favorite Sting. Sting is another person who knows Ted Turner very well, and there was a story that he told about one time the CNN execs told him that he had to give up on the wrestling business because it was always in the red. They were always losing money, and apparently Ted continued and told the wrestlers to continue doing what he does because he had deep pockets. That sounds like billionaire Ted to me. Like I said, we get a 10-bell salute for Ted Turner, and I couldn't be more approving of this because Ted Turner, though a lot of people may not like CNN, TBS, TNT, whatever, Ted Turner genuinely believed in professional wrestling, and he wanted people to enjoy wrestling as much as he did. We do end up having our official show intro, and it's a Continental title match to start the night off. It's going to be Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson. I was looking forward to this match, and it delivered. These two have had many a battle throughout Japan because of the IWGP United States heavyweight title, and they delivered genuinely. They face off and they go back and forth. Juice is wild in this one. He's even got this whole mantra, and there's a whole point, and I'm going to point out right now, when they do those little segments with Renee Paquette at ringside where she's kind of like doing like a ringside reporter kind of thing, I love that. They need to keep doing that. She reports that apparently she tried to talk to Juice beforehand, and Juice even said just the same mantra that you can see him saying in the entrance. Obviously, you can't hear him saying it, but you can see him repeating it, and all he says is, I beat Jon Moxley before, I can beat him again. And he continues to repeat that, and you literally see him come down to the ring and say that in the ring. This match goes on for a good while, and this is fucking great for these two. Somehow Mox at one point in time gets a cut under his eye, and he just keeps going. Juice is genuinely on the loose. They constantly say Juice is on the loose, and Mox switches from a choke, and he gets him into this bulldog thing. At one point in time, before then, Juice throws him over some barricades, over into the timekeeper's table. This was great. I genuinely think that this was a great match. Mox and Juice know how to go very well together, and they made it look really genuine. And at the end of the day, no one looked weak in the match. They did really well. Mox, of course, does get the win with the bulldog choke. And again, like I said, even though it's a bulldog choke and Juice passed out, nobody looks weak in this match. We go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we have the one and only Will Ospreay training with the Death Riders, and it's kind of crazy because you can see Wheeler Yuta doing like these deep crunches, and he's using Will as a bench. You can see Will doing the stuff with his neck, and honestly, that is some scary shit, but you can see just what they're trying to tell Ospreay. Mox is trying to explain to him that they're trying to build him into a weapon, the greatest weapon that professional wrestling has ever seen, and honestly, it's scary because when you think about it, he makes a lot of sense because you have to build it up and whatnot. And honestly, if you watch this segment, Mox makes a lot of sense, and it's really scary. We have our double Jeopardy match that comes up next. It's Dax Harwood versus Orange Cassidy. If Dax wins, FTR and Ciampa will get a shot at the Trios title against the Conglomeration. And if Orange wins, the Conglomeration gets a title shot at the Tag Team titles. FTR come out with not only Stokely, but Tommaso Ciampa comes out, Roppongi Vice comes out, and the Dogs all come out with them. So when the Conglomeration come out, they are joined by the Young Bucks, Cage and Cope as well. So Orange is up to his typical antics in this match. He's got him in the corner, and Excalibur is even explaining how Orange Cassidy's style lulls people into a false sense of security. And literally as he says that, Orange out of nowhere hits a Superman punch. Perfectly timed. They definitely were not trying to do that, but definitely timed that one perfectly well. The story of this match, however, is the fact that Dax is going to be working over Orange's hand. If he gets him to hit the ring post at one point in time, and then Dax starts working over that hand. He hits the announce desk. They have to do a flapjack to the announce desk. After some ridiculousness on the ring side, Dax does go to try to grab the ring bell, and as Paul Turner catches him, the Orange starts his little bit of a comeback, and after a lot of hand fighting, literally a lot of hand fighting, we get a roll up, and immediately the ring is covered. So as soon as that ring bell rang and the match was over with Orange Cassidy getting the win, by the way, that ring was swarmed. Literally, everybody just kind of came in there, the dogs and Cage and Cope, and everyone just started fighting. And Roppongi Vice is the only one that's still left in the ring. Rocky tries to be buddy-buddy with Cope, and Cope thumbs him in the eye, and then he gets attacked by the conglomeration. I think it's a knee from Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly, and then Trent gets super kicks and a spear from Cope, and then Cage comes over, and he's about ready to hit a spear, but instead he hits him in the groin. This was good. I like this fact that they're building this up, but it's not going the way that I thought it was going to go. So that's going to be something that I mentioned later on. We have a Roosh video, and I'm super happy about this. Roosh is getting a little bit of a build, and I think this is like the perfect time for it. Roosh needs to have this build. He is a hell of a wrestler, and he is a character that people genuinely love in professional wrestling, especially in AEW. So if he gets this push, it's rightful, honestly. I genuinely want to see it. It's going to be good. We come back from a commercial break, and it's a video package for The Demand, making Jericho's life hell. And now we get Jericho talking to Renee, and he takes the mic and starts heading for the arena because they're backstage. And as he's in the ring, obviously they're in South Carolina, so he's going to get a big pop. He calls out Ricochet, and this crowd is genuinely fucking loud. They are going off. Jericho says at one point in time that he can't hear Ricochet because of the sound, and he's right. Like, they genuinely loud. Ricochet says that he wants to beat Jericho in his own match, since lately he has been beating Jericho with his own move, and Jericho's match is the Stadium Stampede, so that means that Ricochet wants to face Jericho in the Stadium Stampede. And Ricochet specifically says that no one in AEW likes Jericho, but Jericho says that I'm sure at least somebody likes him enough, or hates the Demand enough to team up with him. He can find 4 partners. And as he does that, he starts going after him, and he takes them out, goes for a lion salt, and Toa Leona hits him, and they carry Ricochet out, and they beat him down, but the Hurt Syndicate come in to save him. This is going to go good. This is exactly what I've been saying with Jericho. He needs to keep doing this. This is the way it's going for him. I like it. Keep it going this way. They move on to another segment where they're in the back, and it's Mina Shirakawa and Harley Cameron talking. This one is just mainly Mina building up Harley for their match, but at one point in time, Mina like rips Harley's shirt off and exposes her bra, and you can see the look on their face. I don't necessarily know if that was completely scripted as far as the rip shirt thing, because you can kind of see Harley give her a look, and Mina's even like, I thought you had your gear on. But Harley does fire up, says that it's time for the wrath, and you do actually see Harley fire up and get back to her normal self that you have been seeing. And again, I've said it many times, Harley Cameron has impressed the absolute hell out of me in that ring. She's doing great. Her character is going over. People love it. I just genuinely think that they need to keep going with it because they're riding a great wave with them. We have our next match, and it's actually Okada versus Brian Keith for the International Championship, and they actually drop Defy as a little name that Brian Keith just won the heavyweight title for, so he is going after the international title as well. This one, though, I had in my notes, damn, Brian Keith gets Okada good with a knee. He did, and I don't know if that was a genuine knee or if they were just selling really well. It was good. I really liked that one. Brian Keith really shows how his style is influenced by the Japanese style of wrestling that he grew up enjoying with a bit of a rougher side. He puts a lot of his offense in here, and he gets a really good amount of it. Okada really sells for him really well. However, at some point in time, though, of course, Okada starts getting his motivation. He goes for his flip-off spot. Brian Keith starts to fight back. He doesn't let him get that. You get to see the beautiful Okada drop kick that you normally get to see in Okada matches. Okada does defeat Brian Keith and gets the win, but then he grabs the microphone and basically says to the AEW World Champion, I'm coming for that title, bitch, which, great. I'd like to see that Okada in the world title picture, and we get an update for that later on too. There's a video package for Andrade. Again, If they are doing video packages, that means that they're building somebody up. So that means to me, I think anyway, that Andrade is being used better than he was last time, and they just need to keep that going, right? They've got a lot of people on TV right now. They've got a lot of people on their roster, and they could do more things to get everybody available, but we'll get there. It is now time for a little segment in the back where we see Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey talking back and forth, and they're talking about his shot tonight, and they talk about building him up and how it's his opportunity, and it's just a usual hype segment. I liked it a lot. It had its purpose. But the segments that I'm starting to really kind of get curious about are the ops segments, because then right from that, we go on to an ops, and they're literally pleading with Will Ospreay. Now, granted, Joe doesn't plead, and essentially what he's saying is he's extended his hand twice now, and the next time he will extend his fist. I get it. But, like, how does that encourage anyone to join the ops? Like, if you're going to recruit them and then you're going to beat them up if they ignore you, no one's going to want to join you. They're just going to fight you to begin with. Anyway, but we have our Harley and Mina Shirakawa versus Statlander and Shida match, and this match really actually goes pretty well. You can see just how much Harley Cameron has evolved as a wrestler. There are a few moments in this match where it gets a little clunky, but Harley is showing that she does know what she's doing in the professional wrestling ring. When you got all four of those competitors in the ring, Harley Cameron is the baby. She hasn't been in that industry for nearly as long as the rest of them. She hasn't been doing things for nearly as long as Mina Shirakawa or Hikaru Shida. I know Statlander and her Statlander has been around for a while too, but at the end of the day, Harley Cameron has shown a lot of improvement in that ring. We end up seeing Statlander make sure she gets the win, and there's still a little bit of an icy kind of reaction for Statlander and Shida even after the Falcon Arrow, but we have to keep a very close eye on that because, again, there's something coming from that. I want to see what happens, so we just got to keep an eye on it. And it was one of those slow builds that we just got to wait. We have a Swerve segment talking about how he's power starved and he's ready to eat. And I don't necessarily know what that has to do with Bandito unless he's going for the ROH World Championship, which at the end of the day, I genuinely think he should. That would actually build a lot of prestige for ROH. That would bring up a lot of the viewers too, because if you get Swerve Strickland trying to work with them, I don't see why they don't do it. They've got the roster for it. They've got the people for it. Why not? Why not utilize people where they should be used? And then not long after that, we ended up getting a Bandito response who basically says, bring it. We have our main event of Dynamite, which is Jet Kevin Knight versus Darby Allin for the world title. They are talking about how this match and how close they are. As far as ability goes, these two, they are just absolutely insane. And Darby Allin can do some crazy things. Kevin Knight can do some crazy things. They go back and forth about on commentary about how they do genuinely have mat wrestling skills. You can see Darby Allin doing some chain wrestling because he actually has an amateur background. Most people don't realize that because of all the craziness that he does. They also say that Darby is the first world champion to defend his title in consecutive weeks. So he's on his third consecutive week. And if memory serves, he will, by the time the next Dynamite happens, he will have again defended his title and then have another defense that Dynamite as well. I like this. They need to keep doing these type of things. This right here, this is what Darby Allin exactly sounds like. He's the fighting champion. He's the one that's going to put a title on the line. He's the one that's going to work for it. The workhorse champion used to be the TNT belt, and it's now going to become rightfully the AEW World Championship because of Darby Allin. This is the way it needs to go. This match goes really well. We see an insane spot from Kevin Knight jumping from springboard all the way over to Darby Allin, who's standing on the announce table. This match delivered. Plain and simple. This match delivered. Okay, they even go for a twisting clothesline spot at one point, and they both get landing awkward. We have Jet going into a trio woe and getting like this ridiculous coast to coast style kick on Darby. He gets Darby for the UFO splash. He hits it, but then there's the knee causing issues because there was an issue earlier on after the announce table spot. He started having issues with his knee. Darby kicks out at 2.999999. Darby gets Kevin Knight in a headlock, and he ends up managing to get the win. Sting comes down to celebrate, and this is the start of Collision. So we see Darby leaving, and as he gets ready to leave, MJF comes down and says that he wants his shot. And to be honest with you, throughout the entirety of Dynamite, I was wondering where the hell MJF was. We didn't hear from him. There was a few mentions of him by commentary, but other than that, we hadn't seen him. We see MJF come out. Shivani actually mocks MJF, and Taz says it's disrespectful, and genuinely because of that, I missed Taz on commentary. Taz and Tony bounce off of each other really well. Max says that he wants his rematch, but Darby says that he has to put something on the line. Max originally offers up his scarf, which of course Darby says no. He then offers up the Dynamite Diamond ring, and of course Darby says no. And then he offers up $1 million, and Darby mentions that he once lived homeless under a bridge, so he doesn't necessarily need his money. MJF responds to that by calling him a troll, and Darby says that he wants Max's hair. If Max wants a shot at the World Championship, he will have to put his hair on the line. He will have a contract signing next week, and if Max does not show up, he will never get an opportunity at the title as long as Darby has it again. Max goes to say something, and instead he walks off. And now we hear that Okada wants a shot at Darby, and because Darby is a fighting champion, he says that you're on. We move on from there, and we see the medical update from Will Ospreay because he's with the doctor, and the doctor scolds him from going to Japan and says that he is lucky he didn't get injured, but he is basically cleared. Renee asks him about training with the Death Riders, and of course Will Ospreay reiterates that he is not a Death Rider, nor will he become a Death Rider, but sometimes you have to do things necessary to get where you want to be. And that right there just reminds me of Cecil Stedman saying from Invincible, you can save the world or you can be a good guy. We move on to that, and we have one of my favorite wrestlers on the show, first time in a while. It's AR Fox going up against Mike Bailey. We find out that AR Fox has actually been injured. I love seeing him on TV, though, so it's great to see him. Unfortunately, he is going up against Mike Bailey, so I don't necessarily think that he is going to get a win here, but he does not. He does show off a lot of his innovative offense and the fact that AR Fox is somebody that has been slept on for far too long. If you are not aware of who AR Fox is, go find out. That man has trained some people and he knows a lot of things about professional wrestling. So you should check it out. We then see Willow Nightingale talking about how she has defended her TBS championship 9 times now. I feel like there's a reason that we have her mentioning that. So she does talk about how she has defended people and how she's a fighting champion. I really like seeing her as the TBS champion. And of course, because of the recent passing of Ted Turner, they go on about Turner Broadcasting System and of course Turner Network Televisions, talking about how those are 2 very important things. At one point in time, I thought that they were going to be working on getting rid of the TBS and TNT title. Pretty sure that's not happening at all now. We'll have to find out. We have another commercial break, but once we come back from that, we have yet another segment, and this time it's Pac chirping at Darby Allin. Pac quotes Simple Minds' song, Don't You Forget About Me. And he reckons, because of how many times that they have gone back and forth and the fact that he has in fact beaten Darby before, that he's earned himself a title shot. And that actually does get announced later on for that Fairway to Hell, I think is what it is. It's like a special thing that they're doing on Saturday, which is I think the reason why Collision had an hour tonight. I don't know. I don't know. But they're going to be going up against each other, Darby and Pac. I am not going to review that one, but I will be watching. So if you guys are out there, make sure you tweet or whatever because I'm around. We then see Jamie Hayter versus Sky Blue after their attack on Persephone and Alex Windsor, which is the reason why, of course, Jamie's by herself, but because the Triangle of Madness are in the interest of fairness, they're not at ringside. They're actually up in the crowd watching, which is interesting. During this match, that is when they do say that there will be Pac versus Darby for the AEW World Championship. I'm not watching that again. I'm not going to be reviewing it while I watch it, but I'm not going to review it, so don't ask me about it. This is a huge match for Jamie Hayter and Sky Blue. Sky Blue shows off why she's actually a very good seller. A couple people just thought that at one point in time she was a pretty face, but when she went to this darker gimmick, when she started doing stuff with the Triangle of Madness, you can see that she actually has some chops. She has got some great moves in this match. However, a gigantic haterade off the top does give Jamie the win, with the Triangle of Madness looking on from the crowd. Jamie attacks Sky Blue to bait the girls down, but they don't end up coming down. We see the Don Callis family talking about Okada and everything, and Andrade has his brand new IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship that he has over his shoulder, but Don Callis literally ignores the fact that he has that, and he talks about AEW's championship as well as Okada's international championship and how Takeshita did this and Takeshita did that, and Andrade walks off and just says, "How you know?" I want to say that's actually really building. Because we had a Roosh video for Dynamite, we have a Roosh match. This one goes really fast. He's going up against Manny Lowe. And let's just say Manny messed with the Bulls. And he got the horns. And, of course, he says it after the match, too, to let everybody know. I like the fact that they're building Roosh. I really am. Very, very, very happy about that. We see Jack Perry climbing a hillside and says that Mark Davis, basically, F you. I'm going to beat you. That's basically it. That's also going to be a Fairway to Hell. So I'm assuming the Fairway to Hell is like the new Battle of the Belts, because I haven't seen one of those in a while. So we have our main event of Collision, and it is a 10-man tag. Good Lord. It is going to be the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and I believe Wheeler Yuta going up with the Dogs. Against it is the Guns, which is the returning Austin and Colton Gunn with Ace Austin and the Young Bucks. This one actually goes really well. Mox is on comms for this one, and at one point in time, we see one of those massive, like, big 4-man suplexes, and he calls it a human centipede suplex. That man is genuinely fucking unhinged. I'm just glad to see the Guns back. This is the Guns' first action in a while. It is for Colton. Colton has been gone for some time now. They look great here. They look like they're in great shape. There's no ring rust at all for them. I love to see them back. But again, when you come back from something like this giant 10-man tags like this, they should. They should be doing this, because this is how people ease back in. I didn't realize that I missed the Guns until they came back. So genuinely pretty cool to see. At some point we see Austin reverse something by Claudio into like a jumping complete shot. So I popped a little bit because I genuinely think that's funny. Somehow Matt Jackson ends up managing to get like 4 of the competitors in the ring for a fall, like a near fall, which I thought was absolute chaos and ridiculous, but it's kind of funny to me. We do see Ace getting the win with this one though, but because of a wild melee and the big offense from the Guns, that after hitting Castagnoli with a 310 to Yuma, Garcia was the ones, Daniel Garcia, that's in the ring with Claudio Castagnoli, and again I believe it was Wheeler Yuta. Yeah, it is Wheeler Yuta. I had to think about that one for a second, but we do see them going off, and at this point this becomes a giant just clusterfuck of action. Personally, when you do these type of shows, you kind of have to keep all of this going. Juice Robinson comes down to celebrate with the Bang Bang Gang and the Young Bucks and ends up getting into just a fucking crazy fight. You guys don't even understand how hard it is sometimes to watch 3 hours of wrestling. But when you are enjoying the show, you don't notice. WWE fans know what it's like to sit down and watch 3 hours of professional wrestling when they try to watch SmackDown, but they spend more of that time watching ads and promos than they do of matches. I think the one time that I actually sat down to watch SmackDown, there was like 5 or 6 matches on the night. I just listed off, I think, 8 in total matches from a 3-hour show, which is the way you should do it if you're going to do a 3-hour show. But that is it. That is the review. That is Dynamite and Collision that happened last night, May the 6th. I am not going to review Fairway to Hell, but I will be sitting down on Saturday to watch that because I'm interested. There are 3 matches that are going to be fun to see. Well, they didn't say specifically, but it does sound like the Women's Tag Team Championship, or champions, will be in action. I don't think the champions titles are going to be on the line, but they're going to be in action. But like I said, we'll see Jack Perry go up against Mark Davis again for his national title, and we will see Pac go up against Darby for the AEW World Championship, which that alone is going to make the show. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. And, of course, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, because it's not just my opinion that matters here. My long-winded ass is going to take off. I hope you guys had yourself a fantastic one. 4 simple rules. Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, and above all else, just love professional wrestling. I love you guys. I'm out of here.